What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, people. Because we played the game yesterday, I swear the whole week feels messed up. It feels like the weekend, but it's not. But we're here, people. Big up to everyone locked in. And great numbers on the watch along yesterday, even though it wasn't a great game against Tottenham. And we're going to talk about it and delve into details. We're looking for solutions rather than problems. Um, our problems aren't major, but if the manager continues to be stubborn, we're going to run into more problems and maybe struggle to win trophies. If he can be adaptable and change things a little bit, I think we do have an opportunity of having a successful season. But I think what we've seen, even though we've signed a number of players, is that there are things that we still need. There's ingredients that we still need in order to get this team right. So, and listen, Eze is a player that I'm a massive fan of, and I hope we buy him. But I think we need two players. I think Eze needs to come in and say, listen, I'm here to put pressure on Martin Odegard in that central attacking position. And then we need a left winger, an out left winger as well. But listen, big up to everyone. Apparently I was 30 seconds late. I mean, that's pretty much on time for me. I can't lie, people. Big up to everyone locked in. C Unit Business. Big up JB as well. Big up Curtis and the C Unit. Big up yourselves. Ben Jacobs Bomber, we're going to talk about that as well. Because, listen, I know people always say just concentrate on your own team, but there is a little bit of a... Listen, there's a situation where a team has won the league by 10 points and they could potentially drop 400 million on their team. That does have an effect on Arsenal, no matter what anybody thinks. Arteta serving up more waffle with extra syrup, says BX Gunner. Big up yourself, bro. Olban said, big up community, sorry, but sack this manager. He's as dumb as they come. Or fix up Arteta. He has to fix up. He has to. Or we got to bring someone else in, but he's definitely going to get the season. We know that. Elk said that's a solid hoodie, Big C. Big up to you in the community. This hoodie, man, I've had it for ages. It's faded a little bit now as well, but when it came out, man, I should have bought the t-shirt and everything out. It's a great colorway with the black and red. Big C, Max Dalman is serious, better than all of our wingers. I think we have to be careful sometimes. You know, when you see a player for a short period of time and, you know, he's not better than Saka, is he, right now? Like, Saka's done it under the biggest of pressure situations. I'm in agreement that Max Stallman looks like he's got unbelievable talent. And listen, maybe he does need regular game time, but I think we've got to be careful giving people too much praise before they've actually proved it. You know, Bukayo Saka, since Aubameyang left his football club, which player has pretty much, I won't say carried the team, but who's been at the forefront of this team since Oba left the football club? It's been Bukayo Saka. So I'm not ready to give Max Dalman that kind of praise yet. Big up my bro Akeem Odegaard. He's not good enough. I think he's Villa level. Bro, there might be fans at Villa that say he's not even their level. Like, would they give up Morgan Rogers for Odegaard? If you said to me right now, Odegaard out, Morgan Rogers in, I'm probably taking that swap deal. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not sure Aston Villa would take that swap deal. Odegaard, I always reiterate, Odegaard is a very talented player. There's no doubt. Nobody can question his technical ability. The problem with Martin Odegaard now is you are not affecting the game enough. There is a reason, if you look at football, that number 10s went out of the game. At one stage, you had Isco, you had David Silva, you had Juan Mata, you had Meza Ozil, James Rodriguez. All these number 10s in the game. Clubs started going away from number 10s. They were luxury players. You couldn't afford to carry them in your team. I think Odegaard's a 10. Odegaard plays as a right 8 for us and drops into midfield. Yesterday, he played centre mid. So I don't understand. I would not want Martin Odegaard to be in the middle of my midfield if I was his manager. What do I want him in there for? He's not physical enough. He doesn't drive forward and run past people. If you're going to play him, you play him in the 10. Stop with this number, you know, hanging on the right. He's almost holding hands with Saka. Martin Odegaard. When's the last time you seen Odegaard on the left-hand side, linking up with Martinelli or Trossard? The man is constantly on the right-hand side. The balance of our midfield is not right. It's not right. Declan Rice, I do not like the role that he's playing in. At times yesterday, he was left wing. Left 8, Declan Rice. Come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing? He's one of the best ball-winning centre midfielders in the league. We got him left 8. And Odegaard right 8. The balance isn't right. Balance isn't right. Why are Zubimendi and Rice not starting together in pre-season? But we're going to talk about that. I want to break it down. And listen, I don't want people to think this is, oh, we're having we're going mad. We want to tweak things. We need success this season. Arsenal need to win trophies. Fix things before we get into the season. Old Trafford opening day is not no joke. Whatever we think about United and we laugh at them and 15th and blah, 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 United are a problem at Old Trafford opening day of the season, especially if they've got Sesko, Cunha and Mbuemo front three. Liverpool, third game of the season as well. Hector said, very true, Curtis is a classic 10. Nowadays, that's not viable. You need hybrid 10s like Musiala, Eze and Wirtz. There you go. There you go. They're runners as well. They're runners. They can shoot. They score goals. A lot of hey, Woosa. Listen, big up to the community, man. We're locked in. Appreciate the support. We passed the 98k yesterday, which was brilliant. Big up to the community. We're now less than 2,000 away from 100 racks on this channel. Let's get there. And big up to everybody who has reported the Instagram account that was hacked, where people thought I was in a mansion and I was sitting in a G-Wagon. I'm concentrating on getting a dishwasher in 2025. No G-Wagons yet, people. Anyway, let's move on. Ben Jacobs. Ben Jacobs dropped a bomber. Now, Liverpool made their move today. They made their move for Isak. Offer was rejected. Believed to be between 110 and 120. I think 120 with add-ons. Ben Jacobs has put this out. Now, Ben Jacobs comes on the channel, big him up. I find it difficult to believe, however, let's hear what he had to say. Ben Jacobs said, exclusive, Liverpool have no plans as it stands to bid again for Alexander Isak this window. The nature of Newcastle United Football Club's rebuttal means Liverpool will not follow up with a second offer, regarded as futile unless Newcastle change their stance and contact Liverpool. Offer rejected was 110 million. Terms with Isak are not a problem. I'm trying to figure this out. It doesn't make sense to me. I think Liverpool are going to go back in with a second offer. Maybe what they're letting it do is just marinate for a little bit. That's what I think. I don't think Liverpool are sitting there and going, nah, we're not coming back, man. We'll leave that alone. Nah, they've done too much work. Let's be honest. Luis Diaz was sold to bring in additional money so that Liverpool could go for Alexander Isak, right? They are going to get this deal done, in my opinion. Newcastle have just, nah, there's no chance. I don't care what you offer. You're not buying him. Probably hung the phone up. We all know Newcastle's stand. Listen, I said it yesterday, people. I was in the hotel in Singapore with the Newcastle squad. I had a number of conversations with Newcastle staff and players. I can tell you now, they are not confident that he is staying. He's currently training at Real Sociedad's training ground. The guy's not even in Newcastle training by himself with the coaches while the squad are on tour. The guy's flown back to his own club. This only ends one way. Newcastle are Sporting Lisbon. Liverpool are Arsenal with Gyökeres. This deal will end up with Alexander Isak at Anfield at the start of next season. They know it and we know it. What I'm reading about the situation is two things. Number one, Newcastle are struggling to find a replacement. They wanted Ekitike. They got bullied by Liverpool. They took Ekitike. Then they're going to take Isak. They want Sesko. Apparently, Sesko wants to go to Manchester United. They can't get him. It looks like they can probably get Wissa from Brentford, but Wissa is not anywhere near good enough to replace Isak. So I think Newcastle want to bring in a top striker. Apparently, they want Ollie Watkins. Would Watkins leave Villa to go to Newcastle? I mean, Newcastle are in the Champions League, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. So I think what Newcastle are trying to do really is appease the fans, reject the offer, say that he's not going. Once they get a decent striker, I think you will see this situation develop. Liverpool come back with a second offer that will be higher, and I think the deal will get done. Yeah, Ramsdale's gone there on loan, which is a good move for them as well. For Ramsdale, I mean, really good move. And finally, he's at a club where he won't get relegated. He's been relegated about 3 times. So yeah, interesting. Liverpool fans, I wouldn't panic. I think Isak still ends up at Liverpool. I think Liverpool have just kind of put the offer there and said, listen, we don't want to ruin the relationship with Newcastle. We'll back off. Newcastle will realise this is getting out of control, and probably they will then ring Liverpool and say, look, man, as much as we don't want to sell him, if you drop 130 or 140, we'll do the deal. And then they'll go and buy a couple of strikers. So, listen, I made a video when I was in Singapore, and I said, part of me is disappointed that we're not in the running for Isak. And I know we've got Gyökeres. So listen, ultimately Arsenal are not going to go and buy 2 strikers of that level. Most clubs don't have 2 strikers of that level. You could argue Man City maybe Ekatike and Isak if he ends up there. I just always had this thing that if Isak leaves Newcastle, he's coming to us. And the fact that he's leaving this summer, I'm probably going to go to Liverpool. It's very frustrating. Very frustrating. But what a player. But a lot of money will come, a lot of pressure and expectation, but I think he'll score a whole heap of goals, man. But we'll see what happens with that. I think with Liverpool, and again, I'm clutching at straws here. Let's look at it 2 ways. If Liverpool click, they will win the league if Isak goes there. It's as simple as that, right? Wirtz and Isak and Salah, nah, forget it. Forget about it. They win the league if that clicks, in my opinion. But the thing that I'm looking at from an Arsenal point of view, I may be clutching at straws here. They're going to have changed half their team in one transfer window. That doesn't always click straight away. You're looking at Isak, you're looking at Wirtz, Frimpong, Kerkez, Ekatike, all in one window. Sometimes it doesn't click. You look at Real Madrid, as I said, on paper, Vinicius, Rodrigo and Mbappe should win the quadruple. They won nothing last season. So, but listen, to be honest, people, I think Liverpool will be extremely dangerous. And if they get Isak, it'll be crazy. My issue is Arsenal Football Club, and we're going to talk about it. I probably am clutching at straws. Whole heap of clutching. I can't even lie, William. I'm trying to offer some hope. Give me hope. Joanna, I'm trying to give you some hope. Couple of super chats here. People saying, you're not reading the super chats. I'm just letting them marinate, people. Lookman and Eze, and I'll be happy, says Lamar. Inter Milan have just offered 45 million euros for Ademola Lookman. Less than 40 million pounds. It's been rejected. But clearly, Inter Milan don't care about that 60 million release clause. They're probably going to get him on the cheap. So, again, Arsenal, they are options out there if you want a left winger as well. But I honestly think the Madueke deal has tied us up. And we probably can't buy an attacking midfielder and a left winger. It'll be one or the other. Dark Side said, I'll be honest, Curtis, we need Eze and Leao. I don't want to say I told you so. I'm not that guy. But damn, I told you so. Leao, I told you. Rodrigo, we ain't getting him. 200 grand a week wages, going to want 250, 300 grand. Real Madrid going to want 75, 80, 90 million. They ain't going to take Klarna layaway payments either. They're going to say, oh, drop 50 million up front. Pay their over 25, 30 over the next year or so. Arsenal can't do that. We've spent too much money. Rafa Leao is lethal. That's who I would be going for. AC Milan have finished 8th outside of Europe. Even in the pre-season friendly, he was ripping up Arsenal. Eze ain't no left winger. Keep telling people. Eze comes into Arsenal, plays left wing. He'll look good, but he won't look as good as he looks at Palace. This manager have him running back, covering Lewis Skelly, while Lewis Skelly's in midfield, inverting. Eze is a central base player. Tommy said, big up Big C in the community, road to 100k. Big up the community as always. Karma, thank you for the super sticker, really appreciate it. Aryon said, this manager can't break a low block. Cross the ball FC. Low blocks are his kryptonite, people. He does not know how to deal with a low block. Is it the players or the tactics, says John? I think a combination of both. Combination. But I think it's the tactics more. Some of the players, I think, are at the end of the road, people, at Arsenal. I really do. But the tactics, they are hindering us. I'm telling you now. Arteta 22-23. When we finished second, first title year, we were the best team in the Premier League to watch that year. Our transition that season was incredible. Martinelli was electric. Saka was on fire. Odegard was balling. We were ridiculous that year. Fell short at the end. Then the next season, he tried to add a bit of balance. Till Christmas, we were sluggish. After Christmas, we were really good. He found the balance again. We fell short in the end. Man City went unbeaten from December. Last season, he went all the way the other way and said, we're going to defend our way to victory. Didn't work. Didn't work. Defence wasn't good enough to just carry us to a title. We needed an attack. We didn't score, not one player scored 10 league goals for Arsenal last season. It is impossible to win a title playing football like that. Arteta sometimes baffles me. I think you played for Arsene Wenger. You played at PSG with Ronaldinho and Okocha and players like that. You coached with Pep Guardiola, one of the greatest managers of all time. Yet you've got Arsenal playing defensive-minded football, slow U-shaped football, lacking individual brilliance football. That can't work. Arsenal need to attack. Arsenal need to be braver. If we're going to win the league, we've got to win those games last season where we were drawing. We've got to gamble. We've got to gamble and go for it. Look how many games we drew last season. I would rather Arsenal threw the kitchen sink at them games. And guess what? Occasionally, you'll probably get beat. Occasionally, you'll get beat going for the win. But sitting there and drawing... How many games did we draw in the Premier League last season? 14 games we drew last season. You've got to turn 6 or 7 of those into victories if you're going to win the league. It could be the David Moyes DNA. You could be right, alternative. Anyway, I've waffled 19 minutes. Today's show sponsored by Match Bingo. Scan the QR code, link in the description below. Get £10 free if you deposit £5, and big up to them for supporting the channel. It's still Shaw on tour, kind of, but, you know, Shaw at home. While we're in pre-season, they are sponsoring the channel, so big up to them. Right, we're going to talk transfers. Eze daily. Gyökeres in the bag now. We don't need to talk about Gyökeres. Although, what did he have? 2 touches of the ball yesterday in 14 minutes. That's not what we want to see. Arteta better not make this guy look like an average striker. Daily Eze, people. Fabrizio Romano confirming today Crystal Palace are expecting Arsenal to offer for Eze very soon. The player wants it. The club is willing to sell, and the offer is going in. From what we're reading, it feels like we're trying to back them into a corner. And that's a good point, Red. You know, Wenger played U-shape, but the thing with Wenger had players like Alexis Sanchez, like Aubameyang, like Oxlade-Chamberlain, like Theo Walcott, who were not all great, by the way, but I'm talking about pace. Wenger never played slow, methodical football. It was explosive in the final third. Arsene Wenger teams never struggled to score goals. Oba scored bags of goals. Sanchez scored bags of goals. Walcott was bagging goals. People scored goals in Arsene Wenger's teams. The problem was, defensively, we were all over the place, and we used to get bullied in midfield. So you can play U-shaped football and make it look good. U-shaped football isn't the problem. It's the way you play it and the speed and the tempo that you play it. South London's finest, you're bang on. One thing that Arsene Wenger always understood, you needed individual brilliance in your team. You always needed it. And he always had it. Van Persie, Fabregas, Nasri, Adebayor, Aubameyang, Alexis Sanchez, Mesut Ozil, Santi Cazorla, Henry, Bergkamp, Anelka, Ian Wright. Arsenal always had individual quality under Wenger, Bergkamp. And that's what Arteta needs to understand. You need to free up this team a little bit. What I feel like, Berta is trying to perform another masterclass. If he gets it, brilliant. If he doesn't, have we dropped the bag a little bit? I think what Arsenal are trying to do to Palace here is say, look, we know the release clause is £68 million. Cool. Number one, you're not going to get that for him, right? You're not going to get that. City have signed Cherky. Chelsea are going to buy Xavi Simons. He's told Tottenham he wants Arsenal. So Eze will probably either stay there or sign for Arsenal. Arsenal are saying to Crystal Palace, look, we're going to offer less than the 68 million that you want in the release clause. But if you hang on to him for 12 more months, how much is he going to be worth with a year left on his contract? Let's say for some reason he gets injured or has a bad season. How much is Eze worth next summer? 30 million, 35 million? Crystal Palace are a good club. They're not a massive club. Their stadium's not massive. They can't afford to drop the bag when they can get big, big money. And also QPR get 15% sell-on clause. So let's say he's worth 35 million next summer. You're getting less than 30 million for him with the sell-on or around 30 million. So the release clause is about to expire as well. Some people said it was expiring yesterday, but I think it's expiring the day before the season starts. So I think Arsenal are actually trying to allow the release clause to finish so they can say, look, no one's triggered the release clause, so clearly nobody's going to pay that. Now, it's frustrating. It's frustrating, and I'll tell you why, because our start to the season is so difficult. I think it's very risky for Arsenal to say, oh, well, let's delay it for 2 or 3 weeks to save ourselves maybe 8 million. Release clause 68, maybe we get him for 60, maybe we get him for 55. But we go Old Trafford opening day. We go Liverpool third game of the season. What's the point buying Eze on deadline day if those first 3 games haven't gone well? It's too late. Plus, he has no time to adapt. So I think we will get him. Probably, but I think we're going to have to wait, and the wait is going to be frustrating. I didn't mind waiting for Gyökeres because we still got him in time to have pre-season. But with this one, it's a little bit more frustrating. Eze release clause expires 15th of August, but then someone else said, Sammy Mockbell's news, the release clause expires today. It's not the day before season. See what I mean? People say totally different things. Either way, I think Arsenal will try and negotiate this deal outside of the release clause. Eze would be a massive help to Arsenal, but I don't think he's the whole solution. I think we need one more player after him, and it would need to be an expensive player. And I don't think Arsenal have the money. I don't think Arsenal have the money. I think we've spent. I think we need to sell some players now. But we'll see with Eze. I hope we get him. I wish we were signing him now rather than potentially in a few weeks. Sparsh said, I'm dreading watching our games, even with Gyökeres. The ops are waiting to just diss Gyökeres. I just hope he doesn't make him look bad. Casual Gamer said, I believe an overlapping left-back or half winger playing left centre mid unlocks Nelly. Rashford struggled without Luke Shaw supporting him when he cut inside. Someone needs to hold width. Hope the injury isn't bad. Martinelli, for me, I'm going to be totally honest. You've heard me on this channel over the years defend Martinelli. I'm pretty much running out of patience with him. I'll be honest. I've been in that same category, Casual Gamer. We need a left-back that overlaps. We need a centre midfielder that does what Xhaka did that season and underlaps him and creates space. It's quite simple, bro. If you're one-on-one with a fullback and you're consistently struggling to get the better of him, there's a problem with you. And one thing I've realised about Gabriel Martinelli, and Martinelli fans do not take this to heart, what I'm about to say. Martinelli is not a top-quality footballer. It's as simple as that. He's not. He's very quick. He's instinctive. He's a live wire. He can cause problems if the service is good enough. If you're talking individual brilliance and technical ability, he's a pretty average footballer with a lot of pace. I'll be totally honest with you. And I think people are running out of patience with him. That performance yesterday, I've seen that performance 20, 30 times. He just gets dragged off after 60 minutes. He jogs off, he high fives Trossard, and he sits down, and we just ignore it like it never happened. He's not good enough. We've got to stop doing this, and I'm part of it as well. I get caught up in that same mindset sometimes. Oh, but look what he did 2 years ago. If we can get that player back, maybe he can still be a top player. 1 year, you can have a bad year. 2 years, something seriously wrong. 3 years, get rid of them. Get rid of them. You can't keep sitting. Do you know what? I'm gonna come to this. We got plenty to talk about. There's no rush. Big up casual gamer. That's a great point, and it's a great discussion to have. We're having these discussions for the better of the club. I saw this picture, and there could even be more to add to this picture. I didn't make this picture. This picture was there, and I just brought it up, and I thought, Zinchenko, there's no debate. I think everybody knows Zinchenko will leave the football club. If somebody comes in for him, he will move on, right? I think when you improve in life, this isn't just in football, sometimes in life, when you move up, you have to leave situations or sometimes people behind. I think some of these players have maybe reached a point where it's like, okay, 2 years ago, you was top quality in this team. But where we are now and where we're trying to get to, maybe you've got to become a squad player or maybe you've got to be moved on. I'll be totally honest with you, people. Kai Havertz, I mean, you know my opinion on Havertz. The day we signed him, I was upset, and I'm still upset with that signing. I would sell him yesterday. I would sell him in this transfer window. I wouldn't give him 1 year as a backup to Gyökeres. I would sell him right now. He would be out the door. Yesterday, he was absolutely awful, and I've seen that performance 20, 30 times from Havertz. He's not good enough. The fact he's the highest paid player at the club is a shambles. Zinchenko, I think we know he's run his race at the club. But these two on the top, I'm telling you now, two players that I've admired at Arsenal, Martinelli and Odegard, we have got a problem with these two. We got a serious problem. Because Odegard, I'm seeing so many performances where I'm like, you are not affecting the game. You are supposed to be damaging the opposition. You're supposed to be a player that if you're setting up, everybody's scared of. Keep him off the ball. He's a problem. When's the last time Odegaard had a run? Eze just scored apparently. There you go. Bring him to the carpet now. Sub him off at half time and sign him. Odegaard's probably in the last chance saloon because the difference with Odegaard is he's had one bad season. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't had two, he's had one. And the injury, so you don't know. But I'm losing faith in Odegaard, and I've been actually quite a defender of Odegaard. So nobody in the chat can go, oh, you've had some, an agenda against Odegaard. I've genuinely tried to defend Odegaard, put a better striker in front of him, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not seeing enough from the guy. I don't think he's the answer. I just don't. I don't think Martin Odegaard is the answer. And I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. Technically a good player, effectiveness not enough. 200 grand plus, captain. What are we seeing from him to justify that? And I genuinely rate the guy technically, but you don't affect the game. We can't do that. Wow. Hakimi is being charged, apparently. It's all mad. That's a madness. Breaking news. I'm not reading all the details on it. But listen, some of these guys, I mean, the bottom two should be sold. Martinelli, he's just getting away with madness at the football club. He's getting away with absolute madness. 180 grand a week. Ah, dear, oh dear. Some of these guys need moving on. There's big wages here. Look at the wages in that picture, people. 275 grand, Havertz, highest paid. 150 on Zinchenko, 180 on Martinelli, and 200. I think Odegaard's on about 240. Do you know how much wages are on this screen? You're looking at like 800 grand a week in wages. Honestly. If I said to you now, okay, get rid of Zinchenko, bring in a solid left back. Get rid of Havertz, bring in a backup striker. Get rid of Martinelli, go and get me Leao. Get rid of Odegaard, go and get me Eze. You've upgraded. These guys aren't doing enough. So I'm more than patience. I never had no patience with Havertz. Zinni was good the first year, then realised he couldn't defend. Martinelli, I'm telling you, I'm struggling to watch that guy play. And Odegaard. Odegaard's last hope is that Gyökeres makes him look like a dream when he starts making runs and he just keeps finding him and he keeps scoring. That's his last hope. But Odegaard has the protection of the manager that he's captain and he loves him. Yeah, the Hakimi news is breaking. I mean, listen, you know me, I'll talk about controversial things. I mean, he's being taken to court, it says, and being charged. But again, that doesn't mean he's guilty, but it means, yeah, there's a case against him. Listen, man, I want that Champions League semi-final replayed. He shouldn't have been on the pitch. He shouldn't have been on the pitch, and he played unreal. Although saying that, we had Partey on the pitch, so can't really complain, can we? Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on, people. Big up to everyone locked in. 3,200 of you. BBC now saying as well that Liverpool will not make a second offer for Isak, but I don't believe that. I think they're running. I think they're sourcing what Ben Jacobs has already said and running with it as well. So I'm not too sure how much truth there is in that, but I think Liverpool are just leaving it there for a little bit, and then I think they'll revisit it, and I think they'll end up signing him, to be honest. Anyway, let's have a brief look over yesterday's game. What I think went wrong, what I think needs addressing, and this isn't just yesterday's game. We're talking about the whole of last season. Because I saw yesterday's performance time and time again. And you've all seen it, people. Let's be honest. That wasn't something you haven't seen. I watched Arsenal. We start bright. Then we lose control of the game. Then the eyelids get heavy because I want to sleep because we're boring and just passing the ball side to side. Then something goes wrong and then we don't have the ability to turn the game around. Arteta looks short of ideas, makes substitutions too late, and the game doesn't get rescued. It's crazy. We've seen it time and time again. Look at the stats. Look at the stats. 16 shots, 1 shot on target. 57% possession. I told you, only one stat matters in football. How many goals did you score? Think about it when you was a kid. Your dad wasn't at the game. Yo, how'd you get on today? Yeah, won 3-0. Did you score? Yeah. Well done. Big up. Yo, what was your goal like? Yeah, slipped through one-on-one. I did the Henry finish. Yeah, man, big up. Respect. Yo, big up yourself, yeah. Yo, I appreciate that. You weren't going, yo, what was your XG? Oh, yeah, how much possession did you get? How many passes did you complete? I don't care. Did you play well? Yeah, you bag? Yo, big up. Respect. Yo. Big up yourself. Yeah, but we completed 414 passes, Dad. We had 57% possession. We had 16 shots on goal. Who cares? Did you win? No, lost 1-0. Yeah, do better. Do better. I seen Mohamed Kudus running wild yesterday, like a horse in the Grand National. Man said the biggest stat is field tilt and expected recoveries. You know what I mean? Expected recoveries. Man were running wild yesterday. Yo, Thomas Frank's been in charge of them for like 6 weeks. They've got 1 new signing. 2 today. They're getting Paulinho. We're 6 years in the process, 6 new signings, and we look like the team that's trying to figure out how to play with the manager and how to use those tactics. Let's have a little breakdown and have a discussion about what's going wrong with this team. Because we was only Gabriel, Zubimendi and Gyökeres away from what would probably be our starting line. In fact, Timber as well. But Ben White's been a first team right back in this team, you know. Kivior was being hyped at the back end of last season. Norgard. Do you know what's interesting? I always look at things right. So we heard, I don't know if you guys, you'll remember this, of course. A couple of weeks ago, a story came out of Bild, the article in Germany saying that Arsenal wanted to sign João Paulinho from Bayern Munich, but they wanted like big money for him. Well, I think about 40 million, but he's like 29 years of age, so Arsenal didn't want to pay it. So instead, they bought Norgard, who's even older, but obviously he's cheaper. He cost 11 million, 15 million in add-ons. But then I'm seeing João Paulinho signs for Tottenham on loan with an option to buy. So they don't even have to buy him. They can keep him for a year and say, yeah, man, take him back. João Paulinho, who a year or so ago, people were saying 50 million, 60 million, one of the best DMs in the Prem at Fulham. You know what I mean? Went to Bayern Munich. So why didn't we get João Paulinho on loan? Because I tell you something, right? With Norgard yesterday, I saw the quality and I saw the lack of quality mixed into one. I saw a player that can hunt you down and win the ball. I saw a player that looks fairly limited in possession. And I'm concerned. I'm concerned about a lot of things that I'm seeing in this team that I shouldn't be. First of all, let's start with the goalkeeper. We're not really doing a player ratings, but I'm just going through the problems that I'm seeing in this team. 2 golden gloves in a row. By right, you should be sitting there going, he's one of the best goalkeepers in the league. However, with about 15 games of last season to go, this guy starts running up the pitch like a frustrated outfield player that's playing rush goalie when you're on the park. You know, you're in goal, but when you get the ball, you can run forward. And trust me, these ain't pre-season concerns. These are concerns that we saw last season that are spilling into this season. Why is David Raya always so far off his line all of a sudden? That lob's been coming. In fact, didn't he get lobbed against Crystal Palace last season? That lob's been coming for ages. Now, yeah, we can debate. Was it a foul on Lewis Skelly? Cool. In the Premier League, VAR probably chalks it off. But that goal's been coming for ages. David Raya's going on mad on the ball. I don't like it. Let's talk about Lewis Skelly. Yeah, I mean, I've said it for about 2 years, maybe 3 years on this channel. Why do we have to invert our left back? Why? We're weak on the left-hand side at the moment. Very weak. Lewis Skelly inverts, so your fullback's gone. Declan Rice is getting dragged to the left. You don't want Declan Rice on the left. And Martinelli's stinking out the place on the left. So our left-hand side, at the moment, stinks. Absolutely stinks. Now, why don't you help it? Why don't you leave Lewis Skelly at left back and say, player's a natural left back today. Bomb on, link up with Martinelli, do something different. No, you want him to invert. I'm telling you something now. We might have a slight problem at left back. I love Lewis Skelly as a player, by the way. I think he's a fantastic player. But the way you're trying to use him, keeps dropping into midfield, sometimes gets caught. If we get caught, he's got to run back, which means he's trying to catch people up. He has to be overly aggressive then because he's always recovering rather than being in the position already. If you're a natural left back, you're there already to face up the winger. But because Lewis Skelly's in midfield and he has to run back 30 yards, he's recovering all the time. So he makes mistakes. He's not a natural defender. It's not his fault. None of this blame is laid at Lewis Skelly. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's a brilliant player. But you're not helping him. We've wanted a Jarrell Harto for 2 years. And now he's going Chelsea. I think we need a left back. Not because he's not good enough, because I think what you're asking him to do at times is too much. I think it's too much. I think if you said to Skelly, you play as a natural left back, sometimes you can drop into midfield, but sometimes I want you to bomb on. But we always invert the left back. So predictable. We never even change it and go, you know what, Ben White, you invert today, and Lewis Skelly, you play as an orthodox left back. Trust me, Guna Codes. I'm not throwing this at Skelly. Skelly's brilliant. I'm talking about that system sometimes. It makes life difficult for him, and we're predictable. Our left side is already struggling, so pulling your left back central is only going to further weaken it. And then making Declan Rice this left eight. What the hell is that about? This guy's one of the best box-to-box or number sixers in the league. And we've got him on the left. And I saw it at the back end of last season. I've seen it in this whole pre-season. Declan Rice is in a role that does not suit him, in my opinion. He should be more central. And then you've got Odegard holding hands with Saka on that right-hand side. Why can't Odegard drift all over? Because Gyökeres is going to need Odegard to link up with him, to get into those pockets. You don't need him on the right, trying to play 1-2s with Saka all the time, because all we're doing when we get against the low block is stop crossing the ball in, which is probably why we wanted Benjamin Sesko, because he's 6'5" and he's massive, and he'd probably get on the end of them. Gyökeres doesn't score that many headers, so you know what I mean, Coz? Listen, I'm not for 1 second saying any of our players are poor. Lewis Skelly's a fantastic player. I think you can help Lewis Skelly by taking some responsibility off him and saying, listen, I want you to get forward as an orthodox left back at times. We're effectively asking him to play 2 roles. Even with David Raya, it sounds like I'm blaming him. This is probably an instruction from the manager. Play like Edison at City. I'm concerned about the manager. And you guys know I've been concerned for a couple of years. Can we get a Kieran Tierney? Oh, it's Kieran Tierney, lad. He's gone, people. He got an assist against Newcastle the other day as well. He's probably loving life. Listen, things can change. Things can change. You get Gyökeres up front. You maybe get Eze on the left. And then your front three might start balling out. Free the team up a little bit. You know, when the door is making the squeaking noise, you've got to get the WD-40, spray it on, loosen it up, silk it up a little bit, and then it stops making the noise. Right now, Arsenal are like the bathroom door squeaking. You need some WD-40, man. You need something to free that team up. That team looks rigid right now. I'm telling you, they're moving like robots. Remember that song back in the day? Around the world, around the world. And no lyrics, just the same thing all the time. That's Arsenal. Just turning up and saying the same thing every week. David Raya, run off your goal line. Lewis Skelly, invert into midfield. Rice, go towards the left. Martinelli, run at the fullback and run it out of play for a goal kick. Havertz, just walk around with that look on your face like you're not even bothered. Saka, just run at 3 defenders all game until they kick you so much that you're injured. Odegaard, flick the ball, look fancy, shoot the snot out of your nose and flick your hair and tell the fans to make more noise. It's predictable. Come on, man. Free this team up, man. Free them. Daft Punk settings. Come on, man. You know them tunes, people. Old school tunes. No lyrics. Just repeat. Rinse and repeat, Arsenal. I want to see a bit more freedom, a bit more je ne sais quoi, a bit more va-va-voom. Va-va-voom was what made us special. This ain't va-va-voom. This is beans on toast. I'm watching beans on toast football. It's food, but it's not the proper food that you want. Anyway, that's enough of me ranting, people. I'm just looking for solutions. Old Trafford, opening game of the season. You get beat there, we're in trouble day one. Day one. That's the good thing about this fixture list. There's nowhere to hide. You go to Old Trafford opening day and get beat. We're in a crisis already on the first game of the season. And then you go Liverpool, third game. International break after Liverpool. Madness. Madness. Come on, Mikel. Sort this out. Sort this out. When I said the injury isn't bad, I was referring to your son's injury. Big up, bro. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Per Hansen said, I can see us dropping 4 points in the 3 games before the international break. If that happens, the league is basically conceded in August. We've got to turn that Old Trafford game into a positive. The negative is if you go to Old Trafford and get beat, we're in a crisis. They'll annihilate us on social media. we're all over the place. On the flip side, if you beat them, you've been to one of the big clubs away from home, you've beaten them, you've got Leeds at home next, you beat them, then you go to Anfield, thinking anything can happen. So that's how Arsenal have to address it. T. Dot said, big up C, looking for more jokes this season. The team is frustrating. We aren't even in the title race this season. We need to be. Otherwise, we'll be in trouble. Arteta managers like he's avoiding relegation, says Troy. That's mad. Farhan said, with what we have, the goal is top 4. Well, it shouldn't be. Buzz said Liverpool third game takes a few weeks to settle. Red Dust said, even with rigid football, we still concede goals. Liverpool break low blocks without sacrificing fluid football, keeping the fans involved and entertained. We should be humble and take notes. Curtis, which one is Daichi putting in a headlock? I mean, I'd try and put Havertz in a headlock, but what's the point, mate? He's an absolute wimp. I wouldn't even bother. You know, I'd probably go for Odegard, but the only thing is, health and safety-wise, you know, nobody wants snot on their arm, do they? So I'd leave him alone. I'd leave him alone, to be honest. We eat bricks, we eat wood, we eat concrete, but we don't eat snot. So I'll leave Martin Odegaard alone. There you go. We haven't done a Daichi for a while, to be fair. He needs to get a new manager's job. SG said, I said a year ago in your member stream, Curtis, Odegaard should be a bench player and Eze should replace him. I mean, SG, you're spot on. You're spot on. A year later. Teta out. I'd rather have Balotelli start than Kai, says Digi. I agree, to be honest. Why always me? Curtis just dropped some Daft Punk on us. Come on, man. Anytime, anything can get dropped, Jake. It really can. Marco said, sacked by November. If we start the season playing like this, watch 29 start at United. So frustrating watching us play this boring. If Havertz starts at Old Trafford, man, I mean, he might use the Gyökeres isn't fit excuse. George said, used to stress over Gyökeres, now I'm stressing over Eze. Because when I was asked, what will this transfer window be if we sign Gyökeres? I said 6 out of 10. It's an average window, and it is because you can tell that even with Gyökeres, we ain't winning the league. We need more than that. We need a left winger badly. El Guigo, big up with a super sticker. Appreciate that. Curtis, we are all pinning our hopes on Gyökeres. Yeah, we're looking at Gyökeres to get 25, 30 league goals, to be honest. And Alex says Nelly is blamed for no reason. He has no help, unlike Saka, who has Ben White overlapping, while Nelly has to run back all game. Now, I agree with that. He does have to do a lot of running, but when you're 1v1 with a fullback, his lack of intelligence is mind-boggling. I'll be totally honest with you. So, whilst I hear your point, but he's not good enough, man. He's not good enough. He's had multiple games to show that he can perform, and he struggles. Martinelli, I think it's time to say, sit on the bench and back up the new winger or move him on. However, we're not moving him on. He's doing a Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm not leaving. Well, Arteta says you're not leaving. Arsenal have informed all clubs interested in Gabriel Martinelli that he's not for sale. Yeah, cheers, lads. Thanks for that. It looks as if Trossard is the one more likely to leave out of the two. Year left on his deal, refusing to sign a new deal. I think Trossard is the one that will probably be moved on if we are to bring in a new left winger. So Arsenal are not prepared to sell Gabriel Martinelli, which is, I mean, look, were clubs in for him? I don't know. And listen, we always hope as fans that these guys can, you know, bring back their form. We all want to see that Martinelli from 2 or 3 years ago where he was on fire, 15 goals, blah, blah, blah. But we're waiting. Should have loaned Rashford. I think Rashford's better than Martinelli. I've always said that. But yeah, listen, I think what you've got to do is downgrade him. If he's staying and Trossard sold, cool, you're on the bench and we bring in a new left winger. You're coming off the bench for 20 minutes as impact. Apparently Eze has had a stormer today. I don't know who are Crystal Palace playing today. Apparently he scored, and I seen his goal the other day as well. The guy's a baller, man. The guy's a baller. Who are Crystal Palace playing today? I'm assuming pre-season friendly somewhere. Do you guys know in the chat? I can't find it. Who are they playing? Who did he score against? Xhaka unlocked Nelly. He did, to be fair. Augsburg. Oh, they're over. Oh, it's 3-0 at the moment. Eze scored 1. Mateta scored 2. I'd take Mateta as well, by the way. Honestly, I would get rid of Havertz, take Mateta. Imagine having Gyökeres and Mateta as your two strikers. Eze's a baller, man. That guy's a baller. Where did he start? They play free at the back, though, don't they? Yeah, he played in the 10 role. Guy's a baller, man. But let's see. Hopefully he's playing for us by the end of this transfer window. We need him to. I'm trying to find his goal. Apparently he scored a very good goal. I saw his goal the other day, man. Great goal. So calm on the ball, isn't he? But is he the left winger? Does he solve the left wing problem if we bring him in? That's the question. Eze and Mateta for Havertz and Trossard, yeah? I think the reason we're feeling like this is we can already see what went wrong last season and we want to address it before it becomes a problem this season. We want Arteta to address it. You know, how come when teams sit in, we're struggling to break them down so much? How come we dominate possession in a lot of these games, but we don't take a lot of them chances? Bro, I'd take Mateta all day long. Guy's a beast. Guy's a beast. You know, imagine Mateta and Gyökeres as your front two. And I think Mateta would come to Arsenal as well, even if he knew Gyökeres was there, because it's such a big move for him. Reece undervalued. You know what, man? Somebody tweeted it today. I wish I had the tweet, so I'm going to give the credit to them. But I forget who tweeted it, so my apologies. But somebody said I'm in a constant circle when it comes to Reece Nelson. You're like, get rid of him. Then you watch him play in pre-season. He looks really sharp. Then you say, run it back for one more season, Reece Nelson. Then he doesn't play that well. Then you say, Reece is done, get rid of him. And I feel like that all the time. I went into pre-season saying, yeah, Reece is done, get rid of him. I watched him in pre-season. I said, hang on, he looks better than Martinelli. Keep him. But then you keep him and you're like, Nelson's a good player. He hasn't developed. I don't think he's played enough football and he hasn't developed. So I'm going to go against the emotion and say we've got to get rid of him. I wish he'd developed better, you know, and I would have kept him, but he hasn't improved enough. Big up, Troops, man. Hope you're well, bro. Appreciate the raid. Big up everyone who's come over from Troops' show that he had on. Big him up. And we'll be doing some shows next season as well. We've been chatting and we're going to get some shows going next year. So shout out to Troops, man. I appreciate the raid. Yeah, no time for sentiment, Karosh. You're right. And this is what I said earlier. Players like Havertz, Odegard, Martinelli, Zinchenko, these guys, they might need to be moved on. They seriously might need to be moved on. In terms of the left winger that I'd be going for, listen, I've spoken about it so many times. I'd be signing Rafa Leao. Not everybody agrees. Some people say his end product's not good enough. Even on tour, I tried to get this guy to sign for Arsenal. The reason I've said all along, go and sign Rafa Leao, is this. I never genuinely believed we were getting Rodrigo. Said it all window. I don't see him coming to Arsenal. He's on massive wages. It's a massive transfer fee. You got to pay a lot of it up front. And does he even want to leave Real Madrid? Rodrigo ain't coming. You've probably got two clear options that you can get out wide. One is Leao. The other one is Lookman. Now, Lookman, like I said, Inter Milan have offered 45 million euros for Lookman, which is crazy. You're talking like 39 million pounds. Now, it has been rejected, but the belief is they're going to get him well under his release clause. I just saw a report saying 50 million euros might get the deal done. You're looking at like 44 million quid for Lookman. He's very, very gettable, Lookman. Clubs don't seem to have gone near him for some reason, but Inter would be a great move for him. I would go for Leao. I think he's electric. And as I said, even though I agree that his end product is not perfect, he's so dangerous that the fullbacks have to double up on him. So we need players that create space for people. We need players that attract attention. We need Saka to have more space and Gyökeres to have more space. And this guy is a chaos merchant. If you look at his overall numbers, because we do this nowadays, it's all GA, and it's not just the goals, it's how many goals and assisted you get. 2021, 12 GA. 21, 22, 19 GA. 22, 23, 23 GA. 23, 24, 18 GA. 24, 25, 16 GA. This is only in the league, by the way. Obviously, scored 3 goals in the Champions League. He got goals in the Coppa Italia as well. I would go for him all day long. All day long. Leao, Gyökeres, Saka, that is a problem if you're playing against that. Because the reality is this. Whilst we have to concentrate on ourselves rather than what other teams are doing, I'm sorry, but Isak going to Liverpool needs to wake everybody up. Your window that you looked at and might have said, oh, that's a 7 out of 10 window. If Isak goes to Liverpool, that's a 5 out of 10 window. I'm telling you now, that window that Liverpool are about to drop, if they get Isak over the finish line, that window is putting a whole heap of pressure on Arsenal. I'm telling you now, maybe even Pep. But what Liverpool are telling people is, listen, league title's been bagged. That window is telling you they want to dominate for the next 5 years. They're trying to win the Champions League. They're trying to win back-to-back Premier Leagues. They're trying to clean up. They're not here messing around. They're trying to clean up. Milan communicated they would listen to offers starting at 70 million euros for Leao, though they consider that figure too low for the winger. So you go in there, 70 million euros, they probably reject it, but then you open negotiations, you try and get a deal done. I'm telling you now, and I know people say it every year, but the Prem is going to be strong next season. Isak staying, bro, I would not buy into that. No disrespect. Ben Jacobs said it, and the BBC have tweeted Ben. They've gone off Ben Jacobs' quotes. There's no way Liverpool are making one offer then just walking away. They're going to come back. This ain't Craig David. I'm walking away. They're coming back with a second offer. Isak's going to end up at Liverpool. We've all seen this story before. They sold Luis Diaz to bring in cash. Then they'll go back in. Leao is 26. 26. I'll bring him to the carpet. But we're not in for him because I still think that Arteta has a problem with these kind of players. And again, people might think, you're throwing shade on Arteta. Do you know it's 5 years ago to the day we won the FA Cup? 5 years we won the FA Cup and Oba scored the winner against Chelsea. Now, isn't it funny that the last direct player that you would say at Arsenal is Individual Brilliance FC, which is Oba? We won an FA Cup and we won a Community Shield. The one before that was Alexis Sanchez. We won 2 FA Cups, I think, with Sanchez. Mesut Ozil before that. We won FA Cups. Now, I'm not saying FA Cups was enough. We needed to win titles, of course. We were still unhappy winning FA Cups when we were finishing 5th and 7th and whatever. But what I'm saying is people have to understand sometimes that to get over the finish line, yeah, you need that defensive structure. Yeah, you need that balance. But you need those match winners. You need match winners who, in a tight game, they win it. Arsenal lack match winners. That's the problem. To me, Arsenal have one match winner, and that is Bukayo Saka. They've added one with Victor Gyökeres. Martinelli is not a match winner because he's not consistent enough. Trossard is a match winner, but he's not consistent enough as well. Odegard has not been good enough for the last year. Rice, a brilliant player. Havertz, nowhere near good enough. So we need more match winners. Matt Law, everyone's saying Matt Law's tweeted something. Let's have a look what he said. Is he saying that Isak's not going? I don't believe it. Liverpool now saying they will not make a second bid. I don't believe it for 1 second. They've done too much work. Why would they make one bid and then walk away? And are the quotes from him, or is he quoting Ben Jacobs as well? Where's his quotes? Northeast Club are now deliberating. They want Wissa, Nicholas Jackson, and Sesko. No, I don't believe it. Newcastle are adamant they will not be bullied into selling Isak without finding a suitable replacement after rejecting a bid from Liverpool that fell short of their 150 million value. Yeah, I don't believe it. Don't believe none of it. Read what he says as well. Suitable replacement. So if they get a good striker, they'll sell him. And they want 150 million. So if they get 150 million, they'll sell him. But because he's basically going on strike, he's gone to Spain to train in Spain by himself. Newcastle will get to a situation where they're going to sit there and go, season starts in 2.5 weeks. Our best striker's gone AWOL. We can't get a replacement. They're going to turn around and say, look, man, I know we want 150 million, but take 130, 140 and keep it moving. I think the only hope that Newcastle have got of keeping him is, one, if Liverpool don't come back with a higher offer, which I think they will, or two, they just can't get a decent replacement. That to me is the only way they end up keeping him. If the market just stinks and they can't do anything. So big up Matty in the chat, brother. See, we better tighten up. The season is on the horizon. Do you know one thing I've promised myself this season? Stay as calm as possible when I watch Arsenal. I say it all the time, but it's very difficult on a match day. I'm not allowing myself to get stressed over Arsenal this season as much as I can, because at the moment, I don't believe that window wins as the league title. So if I don't believe the window is good enough to win as the title, I need to stop myself from getting angry if games are going wrong. The problem with oh man said you're not staying calm. You know what, Akeem? You know the problem? You see, if Arsenal were losing to Liverpool and Man City, I probably wouldn't be getting that angry because they're both top quality teams. It's when we're losing to Fulham. It's when we're losing to Brighton. And I'm like, yo, even we're better than these teams, but we lose to these teams. This money, oh, by the way, yeah. This is a cardinal sin in the chat, by the way. There's a few cardinal sins that you can do in this chat. One of them is talking about Almunia. The other one, and you're holding a 3-minute timeout for this, by the way. Look at the state of this comment. He spelt my name wrong. He spelt my name with a K. It's my whole thing on the show. And you've come in and spelt it with a K. Money packed, you're holding a 3-minute timeout. That is a disgraceful comment. It really is. Do you know what I mean? It's an absolute disgrace. That was kind of borderline tempted to block him, but you know, everybody deserves forgiveness. But that's an absolute disgrace. I feel very disrespected. I feel like Odegard, you know, he's just wiped snot on his hand and then tried to shake my hand. It's just not happening. But anyway, do you know what I mean? With a K, going on mad. Anyway, yeah, this Ian Doyle saying the same thing. They're all saying it. They're running off the same story, though. Liverpool won't be making a second bid for Isak as things stand, given the clarity of Newcastle's swift and emphatic response. The Reds offered 110. If I knock on your door, special K, you know, K unit. I'm saying C unit every day, and the Donny said K, you know. Nah, he's moving mad. If I knock on your door and your house is worth 400 grand and I offer you 250 grand, you're going to slam the door on my face. If I turn up the next day and offer you 300 grand, you're still going to slam the door on my face. If I turn up 3 days later and offer you 500 grand when your house is worth 400, at 300, you're going, I love this house. I've lived here for years. I've decorated it, the carpet. I've added an extension in the garden. I love it here. 500 grand? Well, you know, we could do with a bigger back garden, and the third bedroom's a bit small, and there's a bit of a damp smell as you walk up the stairs, and the carpet, it needs replaced. So Newcastle have answered the phone and gone, what? 110 million plus add-ons? Yo, relax. Hang the phone up. Started cussing. Shut your mouth. Idiot Liverpool. What are they smoking over there? Bang. 110 plus 10 million in add-ons. You wait until that's 130 plus 20 million in add-ons. And then see how they start acting. It'll all change, people. It'll all change. You know what I'm saying, Salman? 500k. Let's go to the settlement. I can be out in 12 days. You know what I mean? 500 grand. All right, cool. I'll start packing my bags. Simple as that. So I don't buy into all this. I promise you. All this, oh, Liverpool won't make a second bid. So we think they've sold Diaz and done all this to go, well, we've made an offer. They've rejected it in an angry way. So we're just going to leave it. It's not happening. They're getting him. They're going to get him. Right, what else we got left? I think I'm done. I think I'm all out of stories. Did I have one more? Let's see. Trossard injury, according to... Oh, yeah, Ben Jacobs has now said something else about Eze. Ben Jacobs is like turning into the third like go-to guy after Fabrizio and Ornstein in this window. And he's the one who's come out with this Isak's not going anywhere story. So he has said on the radio, he said, Arsenal have already communicated to Crystal Palace that they don't want to trigger Eze's release clause now. They might need an outgoing first. The expectation is still they'll bid in this window and lower than the release clause. That's not even news, really, is it? To be honest, it's not even news. Yeah, it's not even news, to be honest. We already knew that. It looks as if they're going to try and sell Trossard. His injury apparently isn't too bad. Reece Nelson, Fabio Vieira, Zinchenko, I think they're going to try and get rid of all them. Imagine ringing up a club and saying, I'm not going to bid the release clause. What are you telling them that for? You know what I mean? It's like ringing up a taxi company and saying, hi, I don't want a taxi. And they're like, what the hell are you ringing us to tell us that for? Ring us when you want the taxi. You know what I mean? Palace must be like, what's wrong with Arsenal, man? We're always messing about with Palace, aren't we? Offered stupid bids for Zaha, and now this. Too High said this season is a win-win. A trophy or Mikel out. You're trying to draw me out. I'm trying to be mature. It's pre-season. Don't want to get on the manager's case. Put the club first. But damn, I agree with that comment. Either win a trophy or he gets his P45. But listen, I hope he wins a trophy. Go easy. Do you know the problem with Arsenal, don't you? I've been here sitting for ages going, yeah, man, I don't know about this manager, man. We need a top quality manager, blah, 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 this, that, the other. Arsenal probably give it to Per Mertesacker or someone. They'll do something real stupid. I don't even think they would go for a top manager. It'd be typical of Arsenal. They'll give it to an inexperienced manager again. I'm here saying go and get Zidane or Luis Enrique or Simone Inzaghi. They'll go and get some scrub. Garnacho is better than Martinelli. Time to leave. I mean, I know Martinelli's bad, but I don't rate Garnacho either, to be honest. I do not rate that guy. Brio said the amount wasted on so-called squad players. Mad. MJ, Big C, you need to retire them Ray Charles shades. Bro, I don't know what it is. Every time I go on video, they just start moving around. I'm there pushing them up every minute. Maybe they're too big. Drogbino, big up, man. He said, all these signings are just telling me one thing about Arsenal. It's not a serious club. Telling me that they're trying to secure second place. What we do very well as Arsenal fans, right? When we sign an average player, we say it's good business because they're a squad player. That's how we cover it up. Right? When we sign, no disrespect, right? Norgard is an average player. Like, honestly, I've seen enough. He actually looked quite good in the first couple of games, but I just think he's average on the ball. I think he's good at winning the ball back. He's average on the ball. When you buy a player like that, nobody gets excited. It's not a bad player. It's good business. But you can do better business, you know? Paulinho is going to Tottenham on loan. Douglas Luiz is available on loan. They're better than Norgard. Do you know what I mean? Why didn't we get those guys in? realistically, we've signed 2 players this summer that will affect the starting 11. One is Zubimendi, one is Gyökeres. If Gyökeres doesn't get the service, he won't look like the player that he was at Sporting Lisbon. With Zubimendi, he's brilliant on the ball. Is he better than Partey was defensively? There's still question marks over that. So you could argue we are a Gyökeres better than we were last season because Zubimendi and Partey is still, is that an improvement or not? That's not going to win you a title when you finish 10 points behind Liverpool and they're about to spend 400 million and City have spent money and Chelsea look dangerous. Xavi Simons about to join. Jarrell Hart, oh, here we go. João Pedro looked brilliant in the Club World Cup. This ain't no joke out here, people. This ain't no joke. If we don't come out the traps flying, this will be a top 4 battle very quickly. So he's got to get it right this year. He really does. Barry said, I genuinely believe that if Arsene Wenger was given this kind of money during his last years, he would still win major titles. I think he would, but Wenger didn't want to spend the money. He was like an accountant at the end. He was too worried about the money. But if Wenger just said, listen, forget the money, just give me the bag. Because the thing with Wenger, Wenger had pull. Wenger could go and sign an absolute superstar. They all loved Arsene Wenger. Do you know what I mean? We were signing top quality players even in Europa League. But yeah, man, Wenger always, you know, you look at the attacking players, a lot of them, they thrived under him. Oba scored goals under him. Alexis scored goals, but you know, he wanted to run the whole club, and that was the problem. That was the problem. But we're relying heavily on Gyökeres, people. We need Gyökeres to score bags of goals to get us out of trouble in terms of winning titles. I think Gyökeres is going to need to score 25 to 30 league goals this season if we don't add too much more. I think we'll probably get Eze. If you said to me now, give me a prediction for the window, I think we get rid of 2 or 3 players, probably Nelson, probably Trossard, probably Fabio Vieira and Lokonga, maybe 4, maybe Zinni if we're lucky. And then I think we get Eze late in the window. And he'll play left wing. He'll play left wing because there's no way he'll drop Odegard. If we don't get one more player, this is an underwhelming window. And even if we get Eze, it's still 1 player short for me. And if we don't get Eze, it's an average window. So that's where I'm at with it, people. That's where I'm at. But we'll see. We will see. Gyökeres will be looking to get 15 goals. Well, we got to hope. Big up everyone locked in. 3.4K locked in. Arsenal need to act quick. Totally agree with that. Fully Gaza. Michael said, would you take Wenger back over Arteta? Would you take Wenger back over Arteta? All right, let's put it this way. I think Wenger would get more out of this Arsenal team than what Arteta's getting out of it. I really do. I think we'd score bags of goals. I think you'd rather Gyökeres was being managed by Wenger than Arteta. That's a fact. He'd probably score 30 goals. He really would. Because this team already has defensive structure and power in midfield with Rice. I think Wenger would flourish as manager of this team. Wenger just seemed to struggle to build that structure and that power and that defense. Maybe because he didn't want to spend the money because he thought he was an accountant. But, you know, it is what it is, isn't it? Most of you saying, yeah, by the way, every day of the week. People, I'm going to get out of here. Is anyone live? Do we redirect or are we just getting out of here? Big up to Troops for the redirect earlier. Is anyone live? Is anyone live? DR Sports are live, but I don't know if they have... I don't think they have redirects on their channel. More fluid football, 100%. Let me see if DR have got redirects. I don't think they have. I don't think they've got it on, which is a bit silly, really. Otherwise, we're just getting out of it. Let's have a look. DR Sports. I think they're doing a transfer show over there. Nope, they don't have it on. They've got it turned off. There's no redirects happening, though. Is Rants live? Let me have a look. Where's Rants? Rants. Yeah, Rants is live. Rants is live. We'll redirect to Rants. Big up everyone locked in. Really appreciate the support. Remember, we're sponsored by Match Bingo today. Scan the QR code. I will be back tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll have some transfer news. Big up to everyone locked in. Appreciate everyone who's been liking the videos and subscribing. And I will see you all tomorrow, people. Make sure you put C Unit Raid in Rance's chat, people. Bless.